The federal government has nominated 437 persons for national honors. The awards will be presented by President Muhammadu Buhari on October the 11th at an event scheduled to hold at the State House in Abuja. 5 persons, Ahmed Lawan, Olukayode Ariwola, Tanko Muhammad, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala and Amina Muhammad, are nominated for Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger. Those listed for the award of the Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic are the late Abba Kyari, former Chief of Staff, the late Ibrahim Atahiru, former Chief of Army Staff, Monica Dombang Mensem, President of the Court of Appeal, Oladayo Amao, Chief of Air Staff, among others.
Arise analyst Frank Tietie joins us now to review the National Honors nominations by President Muhammadu Buhari. We'd like to welcome you to Newsday. Thank you so much for joining the conversation this afternoon. I'm sure you'll agree.
Thank you.
Yes,
My pleasure.
I'm sure you'll agree 437 names is quite a lot. And the media and, of course, ordinary Nigerians have been pouring through the names of these suggested candidates. And of course, a lot are saying that the president might have missed a very unique opportunity to unite the country, maybe even show that he was putting aside other grievances, but it seems that didn't really work that way. If you know, could you explain to us exactly the criteria for getting on the list? And we're also under the impression that it's usually not the president that puts it together. It's usually put together by the secretary to the government of the Federation, and that was not the case this time around. Could you tell us more about that?
Oh, well, thank you. There is usually a distinction between the National Merit and Order Award and the National Honors Award. In terms of the National Honors Award, it is solely within the prerogative of the president to give such award to anybody. If it were the National Order of the Merit Award, it is actually based on significant contributions to national development in specific areas, particularly the science, technology, medicine, humanities, arts, and culture. But in this case, the president can decide to give the award to anybody that he considers to have made impressive contribution to national development. But as a matter of convention, the award, there are certain categories. In those categories, whether GCON and MON and other OON, some persons receive such awards on positional basis, that is, based on the offices that they have held in terms of national offices. But on other categories, it's actually based on distinction in terms of contribution that are such distinctions and contributions that are undeniable, both by the president and any other person in Nigeria. And that's why they are non-partisan, expectedly non-partisan. But in this case, the controversy stems from the fact that conventions have been broken, even though at the moment there is a controversial news report that the presidency has withdrawn the list that is circulating in the social media and in other forms of media, saying that it is fake, but it's actually a strong pointer to what the president thinks about those to be nominated. And it comes with a lot of disappointment, a further devaluation of the National Honors Award, which has seen a number of persons rejecting it in controversial times. National awards, especially coming from the president, reserved in this manner, diminishes its value because it's not necessarily seen to be given on the basis of merit, but more politically inclined. It's given as a way of political patronage to persons that have been doing so much obeisance to the president, who have kowtowed to him, who've shown greater loyalty to the president. And that is defeatist of the entire aim of the National Honors Award Act. So it's not something that should be causing so much excitement. Rather, it has actually lost its value even before now, especially with the large number of persons the president gives award to that are largely driven by political consideration instead of clear-cut standards in national development. So it's not something that goes down well as a legacy of the president. One would have expected the list to showcase more of that national camaraderie among politicians, imagining the controversy surrounding the omission of the name of Bukola Saraki. That's not too good. It hasn't happened before that a personality that has held that kind of office should have been given that kind of national awards. Again, some other controversy surrounding is that it appears to be self-serving. Imagine a situation where a serving spokesman of the president in the person of Femi Adesina will be given a National Honors Award for reporting stories that many people don't believe and many people don't agree with in such arrogant manner. Yet he has been given an award, and one would wonder what a former presidential spokesman like Dr. Ruben Abati will feel when he was once time there. He had the opportunity to also compile names, but he couldn't. He knew that it would be devaluing if he ever nominated himself, and then he was given the award. So this list that came out, even though it has been reportedly debunked without confirmation, appears to be a mockery of the whole idea of giving awards, and I will not be surprised. There could be a better way to it. I listened to Rufai Hosseini this morning on Arise News, and he made a very strong point about a hero like Aiko Tariko, a man who saved thousands of lives from perishing. That famous tanker driver somewhere in Agbari, Nugeli, not local government. He was not recognized even when the Deputy Senate President on the floor of the Senate pledged and recommended to the President that the famous tanker driver, should be recognized. So an award system, a award process that is just recognizing political patronage is lacking, and sometimes some people will now be feeling ashamed to be associated with it. So I can predict that a number of persons might just reject this award the way Chinua Achebe did before under the government or the administration of Goodluck Jonathan, and even Femi Gbajabiamila rejected it in clear terms, and I agreed with him that at that time that you can't lump me with other persons who are undeserving, and I don't know the criteria by which you are giving them awards, and then expect me to accept the award along with them. So I hope if he's giving the national awards this time, I want to know the basis for which he is accepting it. And then a very important point is a personality like Burna Boy, who has done more to bring international acclaim to Nigeria, more than 20 ambassadors put together. You know, you just can't lump an individual like that with 430-something people and say you are giving an award. Such kind of person should be given some measure of distinction. So, the president should invite him specially to the villa.
So, Mr. Tietie, should we have a review, perhaps, of the nomination process? Maybe the public can be allowed to suggest or vote on people that they would like to see on the list. What do you make of that?
Well, if you look at the National Honors Awards Act and the National Merit Awards Act, they somewhat make provisions. The Honors Award is entirely the prerogative of the president, but the National Merit Order Award gives room for Nigerians to actually nominate persons. But the president is just one man. He has a lot of aides who watch the goings on, so they are expected to watch more closely in coming up with this list. So I don't think it's going to be hard to reform in the situation where, if you look at the original act, it actually specifies the number of persons you can give these categories: GCON, MON, and OON. And then the number is not this large from the act. Rather than reform it, I think we should consider creating another form of awards that will have more value. There is no doubt when you see names like Allen Allen Onyema, the founder and CEO of Airpeace there, you can expect that such persons have contributed greatly, immensely to national development. But how do you now give people award for doing the jobs for which they are paid for, for being public servants or for being elected public officers in one way or the other? When the public doesn't see the contribution they have made to improve the generality of the lives of Nigerians, why do you give award to such persons for just being members of political parties or for being aides to the president? How do you compare that with persons who have saved lives or who have done something extraordinary in contributing to the progress, to the goodwill of Nigeria? So why do you give award to persons who have been collecting a lot of money and have not done anything so significantly in improving governance or administrative practice to the benefit of Nigerians? So there is nothing to be reformed there. Rather than we should be thinking of another line of award that will be more valuable, that will engender Nigerians to doing greater things for this country.
All right, Frank. So really quickly, we have not a lot of time. One of the biggest stories from this awards list, obviously, is the omission of former Senate President Bukola Saraki, a deviation from historically awarding individuals with that title, something that is not being done now. Well, we know that the president is saying, or the president's camp has come out to say that this is fake news. This list is not exactly the final list. Do you think this is a way to backtrack in a sort of mea culpa, noticing that they have left out former Senate president's name and the backlash that it's causing in a way to save face and make the polity a little more calm, seeing as a lot of people were upset that he was left out of the list? What do you think?
Oh, certainly, yes. That was a form of damage control, a disaster management tactic, because it was really very disheartening to see that politics was being taken too far to meet a positional personality like Bukola Saraki, who held sway as Senate president. But you see, Saraki she's not being given that award for doing anything fantastic, actually, if he should be given, or for being somewhat an opposition leader to the president. But he would be recognized, even if this administration doesn't, he will be recognized as someone who has occupied a very important position. So the goal, the original aim of the awards, it's been there for a long time. From the 2-3 years after independence, it was instituted by the military, by the first government after the colonialists left. The idea is to foster unity, and to think that this list that is now being debunked was doing otherwise, was creating more division and to a large extent apathy by persons seeing it as, oh no, so the award is just one of those things that came out from this government. So I agree with your submission that yes, it's going to be a missed opportunity for this government if it does not use it to unify. Quickly, if I must add, in reforming this honors award by the president, I think he should do it from time to time. Shouldn't wait for occasional times like a few days after independence for doing it. He should take a cue from his American counterpart.
Arise analyst, Mr. Frank Tietie, thank you so much for joining us on Newsday. We do appreciate your analysis.